All right, so switch gears for a moment. Made the news recently because they're asking everybody to come back in the office. As you know, earlier this year, they said it was a 3 day, and now they're asking for everybody to return to the office 5 days back in the office. So a lot of studies have shown that there's some productivity issues from working from home. And then there's been some studies that have shown that people are more productive working at home. What are your thoughts on this? Recent move with Amazon having everybody to come back, return to the office, and do you think maybe this is kind of where we're heading again, where everybody's going to be back in the office 5 days a week?
Yeah, end of remote, shock horror, right? It's a big move. It's a big move. Amazon are one of the big market movers in the industry. Let's not forget the size and scale of this business. It's got to be one of the largest employers in the United States, probably one of the largest worldwide. And because of their market weight, if they're rolling back remote and everyone needs to come in, all the head office folks need to come in, you can bet that a lot of other organizations that are currently that hybrid moment and whatnot will probably follow suit. So I think it will be a big shift. What do I think of it? I think every organization is entitled to make their decisions as they see fit. Obviously, the organization, Andrew Jassy, had a view on productivity. We actually have some good information as to whether remote or on-premise is more productive or not. And it's actually dependent on the seniority of the person. So for instance, we know that remote is most productive for experienced non-managerial hires. So if you're an experienced contributor but a non-manager, basically you know your job and you can be self-directed, actually being away from interruptions from the office and not having to do a commute back every day, that makes you much more productive. There's a few conditions to that. Typically, you're a person that has control over your life circumstances, for instance, like you own your own home perhaps, or you can control your work environment. You're not in a flat share as you might do earlier in your career, or you're not living with your parents if you might do earlier in your career. And you don't have those other responsibilities of either managing anyone or being managed by others. And so, of course, your productivity would make more sense. Where remote is difficult is for your early entry employees who don't have those types of controls, and their learning curve is definitely compromised by not being able to easily interrogate their more experienced colleagues as to how to do things. There was an interesting study, I need to fish it out, but they basically monitored exactly this, like what happened in office. And it turned out that basically the young folks who didn't know the job, they interrupted a lot. So they got a lot of value by being in office because they got a lot of information really quickly by speaking over the desk and say, hey, Mike, have you seen this situation? What do I do about that? But you as an experienced pro, Mike, you give me the information because you're a good colleague and a good guy, but you've had to switch away from your task to give me that information. So there's a plus and minus relationship between us, but overall on aggregate as an organization, it's more of a plus because you're building someone else's skills and experience up. So remote is best for the type of person that's an experienced non-manager, but it's not good for everyone and not as good as on-premise for anybody else. So I can understand Jassy's decision. Different organizations with different configurations in terms of where their population is, in terms of their level of seniority, the type of work they do. Everyone's going to make their own call on this.